Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mental Health Mondays, where we talk to experts that are in the mental health space or guests who experience or live with a mental health challenge or mental health advocates. And you are joining us on a Monday. We do this every Monday. So make sure that you like and subscribe to wherever you're watching so that you don't miss an episode. And I am super excited to bring up my special guest today, Artie, and I will bring him up here. Welcome, Artie. Thank you so much for joining my Mental Health Mondays.
You're welcome. And I thank you for being able to be here with your audience and what you've created and the wonderful movement that has radiated out from you and your dedicated efforts. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Let's see. Well, the standard story is I got drafted into the Vietnam War. I was a high honors graduate from Harvard, studying in Europe. And I enlisted for what I thought would be constructive area studies. I was fluent in French and German and had done economics. So, I'm going to do something constructive in the war effort, right? Well, it was a scam. And I was trained in espionage. I was sent to Vietnam. I was undercover for a year. I came back. And during that time and afterwards, I found out all kinds of stuff about the lying, cheating, scamming that completely misrepresented the effort as one of winning hearts and minds. It was about mass murder that was paid for and lobbied by war profiteering. It was just that simple. So I got out. I was with Vietnam Vets Against the War, but I wanted to do something constructive still. So I got a PhD in clinical psych. I coordinated the first self-help groups for fellow Vietnam veterans. I got help from the National Council of Churches and lobbied Congress to do a study of us. I organized a group that did a pilot. We were chosen to do the whole thing. We gathered the first national data on PTSD. I wrote an award-winning book called Healing from the War, Trauma and Transformation After Vietnam. And I was like, I'm a pioneer, right? And then in my early 60s, decades of meditation, yoga, energy healing, prayer, all kinds of stuff brought me to get energy sensitive enough, psychic, that I could check my work. And I thought, check my original symptoms. They were out here. I really reduced my symptoms. I really know my stuff, right? And then I check, anything else? Yeah. I'm missing something? Yeah. Wow. What's that? Some other kind of trauma? What I discovered was there's some other deep trauma that is not addressed by all the things that a national expert would have known how to do. You name it, I did it. And I went on a search for what was I missing. And I was blessed with the discovery of a lifetime. That is a fusion. As I look back, what is that? What are you doing? A fusion of meditation, yoga, energy, healing, prayer, subtle body work. There's a way of moving, however, breathing, you let breathing breathe you, move you so subtly that you even move in this motion that's at once the way moms rock babies and the way we move when we first learn to crawl. Right arm, left leg, the chest makes a figure eight. And what's a figure eight? I had to do research. The path of energy through every energy field in the cosmos. Every energy field is like a cylinder end to end with an infinitesimal hole. I call it a fat bagel. You cut it down from the top and the middle, two circles side by side. So you're harmonizing, as I now call it, all of you with all, and nothing cleanses, energizes, balance, expands energy like this that I have found in 50 years, and does one other thing crucial for this audience. Nothing I have found reduces the underlying trauma like this does when you know how to direct it all the way back to infancy.
Wow.
So that's what I got I got a website. I got a #1 new release book that's out. I got a course that's distributed from my website. I got a Facebook page. Harmonize, all of you with all, come join the page. And anybody who joins and likes the page, I offer a special discount to do a half-hour sample session energy reading where I'm psychic enough that I can check out somebody's energies. You know, how much original trauma are you carrying? How much is it reduced or not? How's your nutrition? How's your health? What are your chakras like? And what are your strengths, limitations that are good to work on and have this cleanse, energize, and balance? So you got it all out of me quickly, Kelli.
Well, that is amazing. I mean, just going back to your original story and being a vet and, finding like being a man, my brain I was like, wow, so much information, but it was really good. No, but like learning like PTSD and then going back to school and finding out all of these different ways, right, to potentially heal or discover trauma and how your body and your energy, and there's so much goodness that you just said that, I mean, just amazing from the beginning to now. And your book, you said, was it's harmonizing all with
Harmonize
Harmonize.
all of you with all.
Okay, harmonize
All of you. Whereas people work on your mindset, right? Or they work on your heart center. Or you've got to work on your commitment and your will. Or you work on your tantric energy. It's how we think, feel, act, and desire. There are the 4 major functions. When you do this, they're all activated, balanced together. It's the most incredible because it's seamless, effortless. There are forms of yoga that work on each of these, but then you have to work at getting them coordinated, and none of them that I've done in 50 years. Balance, cleanse, and expand as much as this does in a matter of minutes. So.
Wow, that's just, I mean, I think of when like my son was little and I would lay him here and rock him, and he's sick, so occasionally he'll come snuggle with me and I'll just like hold him and rock him. But that's so true. I mean, his body balances, or like we start syncing up, and it's really cool. So that's just amazing that you found this technique that can balance all of that together.
And Kelli, it might be you have me on your show and say goodbye and thank me very much. Or you could also get a complimentary session with me and we can do this so that this could be something that follows up and that you can bring into your movement, because it would be invaluable. Whatever else people do, all is energy. Energy is action. And the act of acts is blessing. How do you bless? You harmonize. How fully? All of you with all that is.
Yeah.
So, okay, sorry. I just got a Facebook notification.
No worries. Yeah, no, I mean, one of the things that I love and the reason why I started this show is to open up the conversation around what everybody does, right? Like I personally I specialize in trauma, depression, anxiety, like all mental health challenges. And so I understand how important it is to really do that trauma work. And not everybody wants to do that because sometimes it can be really scary, but there's other ways, not just therapy or counseling or, like I do NLP. And so it's not just those. There's so many more things that people can do and experience. And that's why I love bringing on more guests like you that have different techniques that people can really start to implement and experience.
Wonderful. Yes, it's great of you to do that, to throw the doors open. And harmonizing is not just another separate thing, because it's like what is necessary in all good work. Most simply, more of you. How do you activate and realize more of who you are? And as a shorthand phrase, who each of us is quite distinctly is at once divine and cosmic, uniquely invaluable, heavenly messenger. Any of us, all the way down, wants nothing more than what's ultimately true, beautiful, and good. Those are heavenly virtues. And the neat thing about harmonizing is it can bring, with a little training and guidance, an experience in a matter of minutes each day or several times through the day, a new grounded experience of who you are as divine, cosmic, uniquely invaluable, heavenly messenger. Because who is ultimately healing anything in or about you? It's you, but you in what sense? You by a definition or identity? Well, those can be useful. Absolutely. Human being, oh, okay. But how to articulate the humanness that each of us is in a way that does justice to our fullness, that's outside the scope of any discipline or carved up picture of ourselves. Harmonize all of you with all and experience who you are as divine, cosmic, uniquely invaluable, heavenly messenger, here to bless and be blessed.
Wow.
So
the thing that pops in my head is I know that I have had some resistance in the past to the idea of spirituality, and it's not necessarily like going to church, right? It's more of just the spiritual aspect of our being. And so like listening to you, it is something that I've been exploring a lot more recently, because I believe in like the universe and all of the higher self, right? And understanding that. But some people, not that they're not willing to, but maybe are not in tune with that side of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so if somebody comes to you, what are the, I don't know if it's steps, but what is the process of what you do?
I'd first say, well, let's give you a little experience first rather than talking about it. And let's start where everybody starts, but with a difference. Let me just start the usual way. Breathe, okay? Breathe. You don't have to force that. Now, here's what's unusual. Notice your breathing and invite your breathing to come as breathing once. So you may need to not only notice, but feel, experience it, respond, and maybe even enjoy a little bit, just being there, observing while also being the one who breathes, but with doing less and less. So you go from doing, which is an action, to allowing, which is making more room, to welcoming, breathing, to breathe you. First step. You go through a series of refining action. It's not just a switch. Instead of this, do this. Any kind of performing art is a sequence that has a beginning, middle, and an end. So it goes from, you got to play the notes, okay? Get those notes right. And then see if you can get them to come a little more easily. And eventually, you notice you get to the point where your fingers know how to go, so you can invite the music to come through you. You can do the same with breathing. So as you invite, allow, welcome breathing to breathe you, you can then invite, allow, welcome breathing to move you a little bit more than usual, so that your chest comes out and up a little bit more when you breathe in, and down and back in as you breathe out. And have the in and out with breathing happen. And then eventually, and I'm going to skip ahead because sometimes this is too big a jump for people and I need to go more slowly and show more things. But just to give you an idea, you can eventually invite, allow breathing not only to breathe, but move you so the middle of your chest goes up and around toward your dominant hand as you breathe in, and back down into the middle as you breathe out, and up and around the other side as you breathe in and back down to the middle as you breathe out. And you're figure eighting with the middle of your chest. And that requires a little bit more suppleness than usual in your sternum and your upper back, so that you're not just rocking on your hips, but you can eventually, as you let breathing and welcome breathing to breathe and move you figure eightingly, you can go a third cycle of invite, allow, welcome breathing to not only breathe, move you, but also register the reverberations in more and more of you. Hips and shoulders, knees and elbows, ankles and wrists. And then you might notice you have 12 major joints. Oh, that's interesting. Is that arbitrary? No, we have 12 cranial nerves, 12 ribs, 12 meridians under 12 constellations in the zodiac. The 12ness is the completion of every energy field. So you're getting an understanding that's cognitive, but you can also feel and delight in and enact that harmony 12-fold, like how many notes on the piano, 7 white and 5 black is 12, right? So these are not accidental or arbitrary. Nobody made this up, okay? So I just discovered how all this harmony can happen in a way that's, And so you have breathing, moving, filling you, and eventually when you hang in with this, and I won't keep going here, you will notice that the vibrations overflow. In fact, you can't even tell where they end, or whether they radiate from you or radiating inward, or erupt at every conceivable point, and you bathe in cosmic vibrance.
Wow.
And of course, it happens moment to moment to moment. Each moment comes, it goes as fast as it comes. It's timeless, which you can only recognize because you are the same, the temporalizing of timelessness, eternity. Without having to talk about spirituality, you just get an experience of it. It's firsthand. That's the importance of this.
Wow.
So you just you got a quick taste.
Yeah. No, I mean,
notice how you feel.
Yeah. I mean, I just listening to you, like it gives me this sense of calmness, and then thinking about the breathing and in that figure eight, like you were talking about, and how moving your body with your breath is really important. And so, at least for me, it just gives me a sense of calmness, which ultimately will help with everything I feel like in life.
Yes, of course. And now I also teach subtle energy literacy, what I was able to draw on so that people can check themselves. So I can validate how much of your aura grown from this time we've spoken, which is barely 20 minutes. And I know to count in the powers of 2 because that's what this energy does. 2, 4, 8. When my hands stop, that's a yes. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512. 500 times your aura has expanded.
Wow.
Now, I don't know anything from searching the internet that expands the aura 500 times in 20 minutes.
No.
It's this combination of, you're rocking. You are rocking you. All your little Kellys who weren't always rocked. Your soul when you were born, your mom's, it's not like your mom had all the room in the world for how big a soul you were.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul when you were born, your dad's, either love you, good people, but you had to do this. Okay, I don't expect. That's the pandemic in this world. We are all shriveled from infancy, working on ourselves, all of which is good and useful, but this helps by taking it all the way in, down, and through. Mm-hmm. So that's what expands so dramatically. It won't stay like this. This has to become a practice that you cultivate, but at least you got something that doesn't take going to the mountaintop for 30 years, that doesn't take an hour in the meditation studio twice a day, or an hour in the yoga class, all of which are fine and good to keep, but getting out of bed, going to sleep at night, sitting down for meals a couple of minutes, you'll soar.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like it's a really easy practice once you understand and are able to. And in my mind, I'm just like, man, I do a lot of rocking myself.
Yeah.
So now it makes more sense to me now, because that really truly, and I see when you talk about anybody who experiences like anxiety or any of those like mental health challenges, oftentimes they tend to rock to soothe themselves. And so that's where my brain goes, is like, wow, like it makes sense.
Yes. And if you add the refinement, breathe first to the point that you're welcoming breathing to breathe you, and then let breathing rock. Yeah. You will have a harmony come into you that it's not you doing something like imposing or going into an automatic habit, that you awaken. So you're meditating in and through a yogic-like union, that energy healing like cleanses, balances, and expands, that prayer like will open your crown without you having to say, dear God, please bless me. It's just natural.
Yeah. Well, and my mom was a music teacher most of her life. And so when you said typing not typing, playing music, and I just see like her, I mean, playing all the time. And it was just like an energy she didn't have to think about when she was playing, right? It just naturally flowed. So,
but it only got that way because she first had to work at getting each damn note right, and then the sequence right, and then both hands together, and then get from doing them and forcing them to getting, so she practiced enough in different ways that, like, people don't know this, but if you study piano, if you want to play da 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 da, you can't just get that smooth. You got to go da 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 da, and then da 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 da. You got to play all the different rhythms at will so you can get smoothly. So that's true of any performing art. And that needs to be brought into all the higher disciplines that have been imported from ancient times into our modern age, so that we know there's not only the pattern that we get right, but the artistic unfolding that brings all of us, how we think, feel, act, and desire, to go patiently, gently, sensitively, pleasurably, before we can get the easy, flowing, graceful joy, pleasure, and then eventually wise, loving, potent joy, so that you get a little twinkle in your eye.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense too, is we naturally breathe. We're always going to breathe, right? Like our body will do that for us, but the practice of breathing in a certain way, you have to go.
That's conscious, and you enter the breathing to invite, allow, welcome the breathing to come. It's no longer you're having an automatic biomachine with a brain doing it to you.
That sounds easier.
Well, it's more harmonic. See, we've been brainwashed into, we have physical, chemical, coagulated biology that's put together by forces that are basically dumb, numb, and dead, that we then add sort of psychological, cultural, and spiritual qualities to. But we carry around this contraption called the body we work on and use, rather than every cell of you is you. And just as your divine, cosmic, uniquely invaluable heavenly messengers, so are all your cells. How do you gather them all together as your inner family, with all the moments you've lived, and all of you harmoniously in an inner synchrony, without working at it? Harmonize, all of you, with all.
I love it.
You're so great, Kelly. I know who I'm talking to, but what comes out of my mouth? I can't talk like this to just anybody, There's got to be a receptive listener. It doesn't come out like this.
No, I think that it's just amazing the way that you like explain harmonizing, right? And it's that feeling. It's not even the explanation of it. It's watching you and how your body is moving and how this energy about you is transforming what you're saying. And so I greatly appreciate that. And
Wonderful.
I know that anybody that watches this, of course, will also be very appreciative, especially having that sense of understanding how we're in control of ourselves, right? Like we are the ones that can dictate what happens in our life, and we can harmonize our entire body so that it's working for us, not against us.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And just to make it very simple, all you have to remember is harmonize all of you with all. And we're on Facebook. Go like the page. You've got tons of links to the book, to the course, to mentoring, to sharing, to community. And that's, it's an easy step that doesn't take, some huge commitment or outlay of fun. Go eavesdrop, browse, so that you get on my list to make you an offer where you can get a discounted sample session and get it even more directly.
Yeah.
Once I can pick up on people, what's actually happening. I snuck in a little with you and your parents here without even asking your permission, but it's like universal as far as I know that we in this time are born with the message and vibe. Oh, dear sweet little one, we love you. And of course, we're going to train you so you can fit in, because the way to make it in this world is to fit in, learn to play the game, and then you'll get yours. We are not welcomed as divine, cosmic, uniquely invaluable heavenly messenger from the beginning and every day of our lives. So that's who we know we are naturally. It has to be something we come into, which, for me was in my 60s, and I was able to articulate this in my 70s after a lifetime that I can look back on and see, I've had a number of lifetimes doing stuff like this. So it's finally ripened.
Hey, it's better anytime.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. I'm like, what is the word that I'm trying to come up with?
Better late than never.
Right. No. So if anybody in the audience wants to find you, what is the best way? I know you already said on Facebook, you have a group and you have a book.
Yeah. That's the simplest thing to do is to go to Harmonize All of You with All on Facebook. I have other social media, but you find me most easily there because that's where everything is laid out. And I have a community manager that can help me stay on top of communications. Wonderful virtual assistant from the Philippines, Maja. And you come on and she'll send you a welcome message and eventually how you can get a cut rate session with me and other stuff that it's just simplest thing. Harmonize all of you with all.
Awesome. And I did drop your link. So the link to your website is in the comments. And I believe I also put the Facebook page. If I didn't, I will definitely update that.
Audio compartir. I'm in Costa Rica and my computer's in Spanish, so that I don't always know all these commands, right? I don't see chat very easily. Great, Kelly. How wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Are you always in Costa Rica, or are you?
I'm going back for one of my son's weddings in June, but I'll only be there for a week. No, Costa Rica is
the place.
Well, quite wonderful.
Awesome.
Me. Yes.
Any last words or thoughts that you want to put out there?
People come to a place like this are looking, like the marketers say, WIIFM, what's in it for me? Yes. So what's in it for you? You can advance yourself in fulfilling what I call the 6 promises of realized being, how more easily you can optimize your health and cure your traumas and work out relationships from being already fulfilled and do things more easily, patiently, gently, gracefully, pleasurably, right, all that. But most of all, what's important in this time, with war and pandemia and governments misfunctioning and all kinds of craziness and the conflict and the killing and the discord, it's a recipe so that you can be the harmony you want to feel in the world. So that you're not just hopeless and helpless in the face of the daily news. You have something you can do that can radiate boundlessly. You cultivate the practice, learn how to read subtle energy. And I'm not blowing smoke. You'll be able to validate yourself that your aura grows beyond the earth into galactic proportions. That's what we need. A growing army of those of us who recruit ourselves in the ground level to care enough that this earth gets healed and everybody in it. That's what this will help with.
Man, it's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I really enjoyed our conversation. And yes, go find Artie on his Facebook page and on his website. And again, all of it's in the comments. So thank you so much again, Artie, for joining me today.
You're so welcome. And I thank you because, as you can probably tell, I'm having a blast, and I don't have something a whole hell of a lot better to do than share the discovery of a lifetime. It's actually the culmination of a bunch of lifetimes. So thanks for the privilege.
Yes. Thank you again so much. All right, y'all. That was another episode of Mental Health Mondays. Man, I just feel very harmonized and calm and just amazing. So go back and watch if you didn't get a chance and listen to what Artie's talking about, but go find him on Facebook or on his website. There's all ways to be able to harmonize yourself and your body and all the things that Artie said. He's said it way better than I will. So thank you again so much for joining another episode of Mental Health Mondays. We do this every single Monday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Again, we talk to guests who are experts in the mental health space, or guests who experience or live with a mental health challenge, or mental health advocates. But BCC Evolution is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we can't do this without your help. So make sure you go and sign up and become a warrior for mental health today. Again, I didn't wear my shirt today, but I brought it. You will get this awesome shirt if you sign up to become a warrior for mental health with only $20 or more per month. And that goes to all of our programs, which are education based around mental health and suicide. And it allows us to bring you amazing guests to this show every single Monday. So go sign up and become a warrior today, and like, subscribe, share. Make sure you send this all across all your socials, but hit that bell and make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. And we'll see you next Monday.